let's go into this week's business idea. Tyler, I'm going to throw it over to you.
So I feel like this might already exist. I know Slack has something similar, or maybe Messenger, but it's basically voice memos, and not just any voice memos, like a group chat, because I've sent you stuff and I've sent Riley stuff and it's voice memos, and I feel like it's really good information, and just having it so it's searchable, because we'll often have a conversation and then it will be like really good information. It's like, shit, where is it? And then you either got to scroll for 3 hours and then you got to make sure you got to find it. Or what you could do is just have like a little app or a platform with like group chat, say like me, you, Riley, some other 3 other business people. And then you could just say, here's your voice memo. Then you could title it so it's searchable. And then you can quickly find it and go in the chat. I don't know if it already exists. Slack already does something like this. Messenger's kind of already like this, but I just think the searchable aspect of it and just making it just about voice memos to quickly go back to.
That kind of gets my brain thinking, what if you could select, if me and you have a really good conversation about next week's podcast, and there's text in it, there's photos, there's reference images, there's even maybe some voice memos where you're talking about things. If you could click the top text message that started the conversation, then the bottom one that ended it, and then almost put it into a folder inside of your messages that said, and you could label whatever that conversation was about. So then if you open that folder, you can go back, okay, I can go read our conversation on this, that, the other thing. Because a lot of times when I go through my messages, I want to search for, maybe we're talking about ChatGPT, but I can't remember exactly what we were saying. So I have to like try to think of keywords. But if I could just take that 25-minute conversation we had, label it, throw it into a folder in case I need it, that would maybe be a cool feature too.
Yeah. Different aspects of it. It's kind of getting into like a Google Drive situation, but we don't like Google Drive because it's been shit in the bed recently on us. So like where it's just a whole bunch of different tabs and folders and shit like that, where it's like, here's a text category with all of our messages. So I don't know, like I think it would be a pretty interesting idea to just be able to searchable and just quickly find voice memos or text messages that you have.
Yeah, it might even be a good addition. So Apple, if you're listening, I know I have a shoot with you next week, but I could talk to you about it then. But Apple, if you're listening, maybe as a cool feature you could add where, if I click on your messages, it's like photos, or you can click whatever. You just add it as another section under there that says saved conversations. And then those are your conversations. You just click whatever it is and it brings you to it. So maybe it's not a whole platform, but maybe it's just a feature add-on to whether it's iMessage or, just iMessage. Because if you have an Android, then you're not even allowed to listen to this podcast anymore.
I feel like if they just added a search function to it, because there's so many times when we're just like talking and then I'm like, I want to go back to this part of the message. And then it's like, I got to scroll like weeks before I can get to it. So it would be cool if there was just like a search function.
I agree. I like that business idea. It's not as good as my niche smells from last week, but it'll get done.